Hey guys, how's it going? Michael Troy here, and today we're going to be looking at Crisis on Infinite Earths. Okay, so everybody knows Crisis on Infinite Earths was DC's humongous company-wide crossover maxi-series event that changed the status quo and sort of reset the DC universe, wiped out a lot of cluttered back continuity. I don't know, I guess they felt sick of having to justify Bat Hound and, you know, Super Horse or whatever. So anyway, this wiped all that out, started it over, and this was a huge deal. So it was 12 issues, written by MARV Wolfman, drawn by George Pérez, and it's fantastic. This is the hardcover, or I'm sorry, this is, yeah, a hardcover trade or collection. The first time it was collected since its publication. It's been, collected again in different various editions, but this was one of the first ones. This was a whole $100 at the time when it came out, and it has this nice like little bookcase deal here, and also to make it even more special, it has this amazing wraparound dust jacket cover. George Perez's pencils with Alex Ross's painting over it. You know, Alex Cross, Kingdom Come, and Marvels and all that. It's super shiny. Sorry about the glare, guys. I'll try to edit it in post, but if not, just deal with it because the rest of the book isn't like this. But I mean, you can just see some of that. They did a poster of that. I feel it was a huge missed opportunity that I didn't get the poster, but hey, you know, there's still eBay. But I love this like silver embossing on the cover. This is like a really nice edition. You can tell I haven't read it too much, but I did get it when it came out. Worlds will live, worlds will die, and the universe will never be the same, and it never was. I was just watching an interview with George Pérez, and he said, you know, it set the tone for, or like whatever. It just, you know, everything's post-crisis and pre-crisis now, and it's sort of been that way ever since. And, you know, I think nothing has had a bigger impact on a comic book company than Crisis. I was trying to think of that, like, because Marvel had Secret Wars, but it didn't really change the whole, you know, company like that. And they've had other little things, but, you know, I suppose Wanda decimating the No More Mutants bit changed everything. But, you know, luckily, I don't know how well that held up in continuity. So anyway, when this first came out, it was a special deal, 12 issues. It was being printed on this new Mando paper that was supposed to be higher quality, and also with this flexographic press. Look at these Kirby dots in the Perez art. The art looks really fantastic. When it first came out, the first issue was completely botched by the experimental flexographic press. They didn't know you had to change the plates so often, and the blacks came out really muddied, and some of the colors were bright and garish. So I know George Perez was really PO'd, and I would be too, because, you know, this art is, as you can see, is just stunning and beautiful. And George Perez is the most detailed comic book artist in history, probably, and one of the best superhero artists. The Crime Syndicate, they're getting their own series in 2021, I believe. So I've always thought they were cool. So I hope some good stuff is going to happen in that. This is like the Monitor and Harbinger. These are characters that I think Marv Wolfman sort of peppered in here and there, sort of foreshadowing the coming of the Crisis. Dawnstar from Legion of Superheroes. I love that character's design. I want to say Dave Cockrum designed her, but Firebrand. I loved Crisis because I was like a DC convert. I became a DC fan. Well, I always loved Wonder Woman. She was my first like love, but that had more to do with like the Super Friends and Linda Carter than her comic books. So when I first started reading comic books, my brother was like pretty much a Marvel zombie. Although I shouldn't say when I first started, because I was super young when I first started, but when we first started, like, seriously collecting, it was all Marvel and X-Men and Fantastic Four and Alpha Flight and John Byrne and all that business. But I was drawn into the Teen Titans because I love George Pérez's art, but that was pretty much the only one I read, and then I got into Batman and the Outsiders because it had Tara's brother in it and all that business, but other than that. So I was excited to get this Crisis on Infinite Earths because not only am I getting like all these great DC characters, like all of them throughout history, but they're being drawn by George Pérez. Great lineup of characters right there. So the art looks really good in some spots, most spots. I think this was inked by Dick Giordano in the beginning. Not my favorite inker for anybody really, except for himself. I know he's highly praised, and this might be, I think, Mike DeCarlo too, and I wasn't crazy about his. For some reason, it just doesn't look as pretty as George Pérez's pencils should, although that's very cool. Very Kirby, since we have Commandy, the last boy on Earth, popping in here. And Alexander Luthor as a Ute. Obsidian from Infinity Inc. and Dr. Psycho. Yeah, I loved Infinity Inc. Jerry Ordway. And then Todd McFarlane took over eventually. That was crazy, but I really loved his art on it. So I say I was a DC convert, but boy, did they get me, huh? Because apparently I read more than I thought. But then post-Crisis, it was on, you know. I loved Blue Devil and Booster Gold and Manhunter and all those great series. Good to see some Donna Troy, Halo from Batman and the Outsiders. See, I just wish we had better inks on this. I mean, you've got Superman comforting Starfire. There's Flash. Flash played a prominent role and has since played a prominent role in different Crisis. I remember that George saying in an interview how with the new printing techniques and stuff, he did all the snowflakes in black, and then they just dropped it out in white, like a color hold or whatever. It's so funny with computer coloring now, like it's just one stop, you know, it's like you're doing, I mean, you can ink. I think there's something to be said about traditional inks, and I hope it doesn't become a lost art, because there's just something about dipping a pen in a pot of ink or a brush and just slapping the inks down on the paper. I mean, I do work digitally now and I love it, but, you know, there's just something to be said. It's so funny because George always inks his own covers, and the amazing covers that this man has done in his career. You know, this is so epic. You just look at a book like this, and it's 12 issues. I think there were 2 double-sized issues. They wanted to make it 13 issues to do what would become the history of the DC universe, sort of the prologue. And they did do it, but it wasn't part of Crisis. But that was a good one, too. I should see if I can shimmy up my copies of that. Firestorm and Killer Frost. I want to say George Pérez designed Firestorm's costume, but I could be wrong. I know he designed Starfire, and he's a great costume designer. Cole, another one of his designs. George draws a great Superman. And this was just, I mean, so epic in scope. These are characters created basically for the series. Pariah. Whenever he shows up, it's over. You in danger, girl. I always like Harbinger's design. She's so cool. That's cool right there. How minimal for Perez, huh? Pérez. I keep doing that. I'm from Ohio. Forgive me. My mom used to say tortillas. I wanted to smack her. But that's a great cover. I feel like that's been homaged to death since then. Red Tornado. I love Red Tornado's design from the Justice League of America. So cool. Now, this is when Jerry Ordway took over inking Pérez, and I thought it was such a good match. I really liked it because I feel like George is such a great detailed classic superhero artist, and Ordway has a lot of the same sensibilities, and it sort of just really captures like classic feel and look of, you know, DC characters. There's my beloved Infinity Ink Gem, son of Saturn, in the background. Remember him? Swamp Thing. That's so funny. Like, in the same room, Warlord with this, like, stupid loincloth, and Swamp Thing and Sergeant Rock just all hanging out together. But this is like Night of 1,000 Stars, or like Hollywood Squares for Christ, or for DC Comics. The Green Lantern Corps. This is such a nice book. I love, I think this is, you know, everybody always wants the glossy, like, white finish, and this is like a slight finish, and I think it's better in a way. It doesn't glare the art too much. The Anti-Monitor, he was so creepy, wasn't he? Great cover there. I mean, George Pérez, God, smack me. I should have like a swear jar every time I say Pérez instead of Pérez. I'd owe myself a lot of money right now. Great face shots there. Am I going too fast? I don't know. There's a million pages to get through, so I'm trying to go at a timely fashion. But I want to, you know, you guys to see this. This has definitely been recolored for this. I'll have to check out who the colorist is. Let's see. Well, Anthony Tolan, Tom Ziocco, and Carl Gafford. Oh, Color Restruction by Tom McGraw. Well, he did a good job. I think it looks good. I'm guessing there must be an oversized one. I'd like to have an oversized one to show off George Pérez's art now. Totally epic would be, now DC doesn't do the IDW artist or artifact edition books for some reason. And I feel like if they're gonna not let them do them, then they should do their own versions. This is a great page. I'd love to see the original art for that. But anyway, the point I was getting at, I would love to see, like, do they have a director's cut of this, or like a large, oversized, you know, black and white, or I like to call them noir editions. So much great art in here. There's no one this man can't draw. I mean, you know, he's retired now, unfortunately for the fans, but he's given us so much joy and beautiful art that we could just look over for till the end of time. So much going on here. I feel like, you know, crossover, multi-company crossovers are hard to juggle, and I feel like this one went off pretty well, you know, especially since it kind of ushered in. I think the planning predated Secret Wars, but Secret Wars was kind of rushed out, so it did beat DC to the punch as far as they landed on the moon first with this type of thing, I guess. Doesn't it make you want to just bust out your trade paperback or your original copies and just sit down and read all of them? The Flash, that is like one of the greatest costume designs. I could be wrong, but I feel like Carmine Infantino designed it. I have a new appreciation for his art. Great shot of Darkseid there. Comic book artists just love to draw Darkseid and are so hugely influenced by Jack Kirby. I love this, I think her name's Firebrand, Firestorm's girlfriend, and her costume changes, and I think George Pérez might have designed it. Red Tornado. I guess he's sort of like the Vision. See, why don't DC has all these great, see, there's her new costume, has all this great toys in their toy box, and they keep misfiring and shooting themselves in the foot with their cinematic universe. I have high hopes for Flashpoint, which could reset everything, and I'm sorry to say, but they need it. Wonder Woman was the best thing they had going. Great shot of the Spectre there. Bring on the bad guys. Look at all those villains. And I just feel like Wonder Woman 84 might have derailed everything. But we'll hold out hope, and we're always there, right? We're always willing to give them a chance. I love that Chemo and Brainiac. I feel like Pérez designed the Luthor armor, which was created for the Superpowers line of toys, maybe. Some Tamaranians. Her brother, is it her brother Ryan? Or no, he has red hair. I don't know. But anyway, always great to see the Titans. It was so funny because, I mean, we got years and years and years of, you know, Pérez drawing the Titans. And then when Crisis came out, it was like seeing a unicorn when there would be a page with the Titans on it. I'd get so excited. Be like, yes, there they are. Those are my beloved Titans. He's got a cool design. I feel like he was, yeah, in an incarnation of the Doom Patrol. Oh no, Tula's being poisoned. That sucks. You're an aqua creature, and there's Chemo just standing there blowing chemicals into the water. I don't know why that's cracking me up, but it's kind of funny out of context. Poison Ivy. Killer Frost. Phantom Lady, another great character. Norda Northwind from Infinity and Ink Cheshire. I love her weird. I mean, that costume's so crazy. A little burlesque or something, I don't know. Anyway, why don't they bring back Infinity Inc? Maybe, I feel like they're doing something with the Justice Society, so it's only feels right. So these originally appeared in the series, as we know, in pencils, and apparently they were inked or something for this reproduction, for this trick collection. Captain Marvel, Shazam. Here's the magic of George Pérez, people. Okay, so most comic book artists want like a money shot on each page, and you know, you got 4 to 6 panels. So maybe if you really want a money shot, you only got 3 panels or whatever. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, technically 7 or 8 panels, and you got the great money shot of Captain Marvel, Shazam right there. So I love when Pérez, that's like such a signature Pérez thing to do, is to work like the space into the black. I love that. I was such a Pérez wannabe when I was learning how to draw, and I would just copy everything he did that I loved. But then I'd go through my John Byrne phase, and everything I did looked like John Byrne. I think it was easier for me to copy Pérez for some reason, because there's a kind of whimsy and John Byrne style that is more spontaneous, I want to say, but what the hell do I know? I always love this cover for some reason. Crisis on Infinite Earths, number 11. We're getting to the end of it. This was fun. Everything was like all like wackadoodle after the crisis, and you got like Earth 2, old man Clark Kent showing up at the Daily Planet where he doesn't belong, and them shaming him. Hey, old man, you're out of your mind. You don't belong here. Great shot of the 2 Clarks there. Love it. So much fun. Such great memories of such a great series. I mean, if you guys have not read this, do yourself a favor and just do the deep dive. Or if you have read it, just pull out your book and read it. It's fun. It's timeless. It's classic. It's like a footnote in history that will never be forgotten. It changed everything. It has like fantastic art. Every superhero you could possibly, I mean, Amethyst, as if on cue. Every superhero you could possibly imagine you want and didn't want. I mean, they're all here. That's a great shot. That's like a signature Pérez style too, with this sort of see-through. This is very, I'm wondering if Pérez's inks or pencils were getting a little loose here. This is like the double-sized last issue of Crisis, or maybe Ordway was just feeling artistic, but that's a beautiful page either way. I love the faces. I love Dolphin, Adam Strange, just the great old tiny animal man in the background. I mean, these are classic superheroes that are just like in a little time capsule, unless they're like retro or homage, whatever. You just won't get, you know, new superheroes that look like this anymore. They all look sort of military grade and whatever. But Geoforce from the, it is Geoforce. I remember that. His green costume that he changed to after Tara died. Always kind of makes you wonder how tall Darkseid is, because he looks of varying heights, depending. Always menacing looking, though. Wally West, Kid Flash. Another, to be a Flash is just to have a great costume, I think. Because I even like the, you know, the Jay Garrick, like Hermes, Flower Delivery Man, Silver Plate Head, whatever. So much space action. I love it. I mean, this is a piece of his comic book history right here, and so good. Just like, now this is like Avengers movie good. You know what I mean? I could just like, this should be a movie. Yeah, well, maybe this is what Flashpoint will be like. We can only hope, right? So I'm hoping good things for Flashpoint. Here's the last great page of the Psycho Pirate, locked up because he remembers everything. And this page is clearly inked by George Pérez, and just, you can tell, I just love his inks on his work. And there's a little afterword by Dick Giordano, rest in peace. Here's some sketch pages. And that was the epic Crisis on Infinite Earths. Please hit subscribe and hit like, and I will bring you guys some more content later. Thanks.